in your neck of my. Yeah, I need all that. Tell my bitch relax, I'll be back. Where the weed at? You know I need that. Chill, all we do is spit some facts. Beat with the weak raps. That hook and smoke so much. Even though she clean the dick, won't be long till she relapse. All day long, I walk around with a target on my back. Like, kill me if you can. I'm in the shower, ducking and dodging the pad. Crack that bottle, let me go again. Buy the ticket, take the ride. All my homies down the ride. Black flags held high. Till the day we die with some monsters on the rise. Apocalypse now. Open up and shut them down. Fucking clown. For you, I wouldn't even spare around. I pull the box, cut this out, and show you what I'm about. Stick it in your neck and watch the blood pour out. Watch the blood pour out. I pray, but God don't answer me. I said I pray, but the devil's all I see. I said I pray, but God don't answer me. I said I pray, but the devil's all I see. I said
my life a living been fucked since I was 10, bitch. Asking questions about my life, I make it suck dick. Up quick, bubbles in the corners, fast like running. Backlands, cutting across the road some early mornings. Gotta make the money dirty, cause my hands are never clean. And my brother taught me fucking surfing being at 13. Got that gang-like mentality, it's a chill off thing. If you fucking with the kid, you never wake from the streets. Praying to the sky, hoping God would answer me. Instead of them replying with open arms, embrace and capture me. Send me down the path, they're coming back. Someone set me free, somewhere along the way there's a price to pay. Then I'll take the fee, staying loyal to the streets. And my brother's locked down, how to make you bow down, bitch. Hit the ground like a robbery, no sound, no witnesses to be found. Like a murder scene, nobody around, no witnesses to be found.
I pray, but God don't answer me. I said I pray, but the devil's all I see. I said I pray, but God don't answer me. I said I pray, but the devil's all I see. I said I pray. Yeah. Gang like Freck is the kid. Yeah. Feeling fine. You know what it is? Yeah. Goddamn, you killing them, man. You killing them, man. Then you drop. Oh yeah, I'm feeling fine. Ain't nothing stop my shine. Just lost the doors today, but I'm feeling fine. Yeah, I'm feeling fine. Oh yeah, I'm feeling fine. Ain't nothing stop my shine. Just lost the door today, but I'm feeling fine. Yeah, I'm feeling fine. Woke up this morning like damn, I just lost 100 grand. It's hard to fathom, it's hard to understand. I came from the block with holes in my socks, first day and night. Nah, I never missed a chop, broke hard. Everything I ever got, still the struggle never stops. These cops, they want me in a box. Stop, makes my heart ache, cause I got 4 kids that miss me when I go away. Shit, life's a trip, kiss my babies goodbye. Yeah, this is it. I probably ask God for forgiveness, but I know God don't exist. I'd rather rip pages from this Bible, roll my weed up, slit my wrist, and drink my blood from a teacup. That's I ain't trying to come out environment. Worries, cause the crack house so high. Damn right, I got the right to remain violent. Oh yeah, I'm feeling fine. Ain't nothing stop my shine. Just lost the door today, but I'm feeling fine. Yeah, I'm feeling fine. Oh yeah, I'm feeling fine. Ain't nothing stop my shine. Just lost the door today, but I'm feeling fine. Yeah, I'm feeling fine. Oh yeah, I'm feeling fine. Ain't nothing stop my shine. Just lost the door today, but I'm feeling fine. Yeah, I'm feeling fine. Oh yeah, I'm feeling fine. Ain't nothing stop my shine. Just lost the door today, but I'm feeling fine. Yeah, I'm feeling fine. Ski mask and gloves, late nights, pockets full of drugs, and I'm the snub. How could I not fall in love? Life in the fast lane, I like with no brakes. I eyes on the prize, it's a man's game. Around here, they killing over chump change. My enemy shooting close range, aiming in my brain. I do my main thing, liquor and Mary Jane. See the 5, they wanna lock me up, throw the key away. There ain't too much you can say to me to make me feel like it's gonna be okay. I walk a dead end road, this I know. This my heart so cold. Get too close and you can find out for yourself. And looking forward to the future. If it's anything like my past, I'd rather pass. But since I can't, if you wanna dance, next time the devil ask, I'ma say yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, I'm feeling fine. Ain't nothing stop my shine. Just lost it all today, but I'm feeling fine. Yeah, I'm feeling fine. Oh yeah, I'm feeling fine. Ain't nothing stop my shine. Just lost it all today, but I'm feeling fine. Yeah, I'm feeling fine. Oh yeah, I'm feeling fine. Ain't nothing stop my shine. Just lost it all today, but I'm feeling fine. Yeah, I'm feeling fine. Oh yeah, I'm feeling fine. Ain't nothing stop my shine. Just lost it all today, but I'm feeling fine. Yeah, I'm feeling fine.
I'll play it safe and skip that one.
Yo, man, I'm fucking sick and tired of these cops jacking us up, man.
The rest is couple spears up, they hit like bitches.
Every cop in my city's
They
a
hit
cookie
like
cop.
bitches, that's what I said.
Fuck 'em. That's right, fuck 'em, fuck 'em.
Ain't enough that you take what you work for. Once locked in the box in the dirt floor. You can take what you want, we want no more. So
Fuck the law.
yeah, fuck the law. Ain't enough that you take what you work for. Once locked in the box in the dirt floor. You can take what you
I
want.
did not have to show identification to purchase this.
Yeah, fuck the law. Ain't enough that you take what you work for. Once locked in the box in the dirt floor. You can take what you want, we want no more.
They took my money like I knew they would.
Ain't enough that you take what you work for. Once locked in the box in the dirt floor. You can take what you want, we want no more.
You go earn more.
Yeah, fuck the cops, the beaters, the backstage, the bankers, the made bitches. We give them domestic cases. As soon as we catch you slipping, we choosing your destination. You're doing your repetitions, improving your reputation. Shooting and flexing gauges to losing your respiration. We excavating and breaking you, losing your resting places. The resting cages, the faces, the hooligans catching cases. Perpetuating the bases, they doing investigations. We elevating the weight, the food up the reputation. So happy we lying and flying, cruising in jet spaces. The desecration, the slaves that we facing, through exploration, the patients and mental bases. They taking the medication, Canadian legislation, states in the
I'm a mental patient, not taking my medication.
To the federation, they manifest the religion, mixed schooling with education. They fuck when we stay indigenous, free identification. Ain't enough that you take what it's good for. Once locked in the box in the dirt floor. You can take what you want, we want more. So fuck the law, yeah, fuck the law. Ain't enough that you take what you good for. Once locked in the box in the dirt floor. You can take what you want, we want more. So fuck the law, yeah, fuck the law. Ain't enough that you take what you good for. Once locked in the box in the dirt floor. You can take what you want, we want more. So fuck the law, yeah, fuck the law. Ain't enough that you take what you good for. Once locked in the box in the dirt floor. You can take what you want, we want more. So fuck the law, yeah, fuck the law.
I'm like, fuck the law. Middle finger out the window, like fuck off. Why you gotta fuck with me, huh? Cause you heard the rap music, gotta pull the fucking car over. Suck the man out of me. Switch the weapon found part in between the seats. Remember you took the cash and never even charged me. Focus on the trying to leave.
I'm gonna get it back, homeboy. If I gotta take it out of your bill, I will. Something, sure. I'm gonna get it back. I'm gonna get it back. Because everybody has something they can lose.
We handle it ourselves. I wasn't born free, man. I had to free myself. So what you feel, how I feel, is fuck the law. Yeah, fuck the law.
Yeah, fuck the law. Yeah, fuck the law. Yeah, fuck the law. Ain't enough that you take what you work for. Once locked in the box in the dirt floor. You can take what you want, we want more. So fuck the law. Yeah, fuck the law. Ain't enough that you take what you work for. Once
it's locked in the box in the third floor. You can take what you want, you want more. Say fuck the law, yeah, fuck the law. Ain't enough that you take what you work for. When it's locked in the box in the third floor. You can take what you want more. Say fuck the law, yeah, fuck the law. Ain't enough that you take what you work for. When it's locked in the box in the third floor. You can take what you want more. Say fuck the law, yeah, fuck the law.
Rest in peace, Lance Mir, shot and killed by what it paid police service on May 9, 2010. If you can't see what's going on, you need to open up your eyes and look around you. Ain't gonna stop, not till we do something. I don't know about you, but I'm sick of this shit. That's why I say fuck the law, fuck the judge, fuck the crown, fuck that cellar lawyer that trades your life for $1. Yeah, fuck them.
Kidnap the DA and bring that where we stay.
That gang shit. That's why homie that I came with is on the gang list. I was the kid in the playground, never wanted to play with. Quit school to flip bricks, love my mathematics and crack
I'm the one the junkies always asked about.
I was trained out the streets of the murder cat to be a soldier. In and out of prison cells, nothing can stop me. See these places, see these streets, they a part of me. Even if when I was hungry, I had to rely on the robbery. Around here, these cops just as crooked as us. The only young love rap
Because they didn't get their cut.
Shackles and gloves. They say that the happiness when you kill guards and sell drugs. I say fuck if it's gang life, we don't give a fuck. Nah, we don't give a fuck. We don't give a fuck.
It's gang related, motivated by hatred. It's just mad we made it. Rather see us all out the cages. Cause you see how you God can save us. Gang related, motivated by hatred. It's just mad we made it. Rather see us all out the cages. Cause you see how you God can save us.
If you everywhere, so you rather see us locked up inside of a cell. Motivated by this hatred of heaven and well. I was brought inside this gang with the guards that was dead. Black rag on my face is a standing salute. Cock it in a motherfucker, 22 on my boot. Cock it on you motherfuckers, no hesitation to shoot. So I can hit me and you on the front of the news. Ain't no hope for evidence, not a shell on the block. Black rag on my face, hoodie over the top. No description for the cops or the neighborhood watch. What now these neighbors who watch, they
Your neighbor get shot.
Murder cafe, the place where you can feel safe. It's where soldiers are raised or where the gun go. People are dying over sicknesses from saving some man. Gang life, you don't live in every day for change.
Stay gang related, motivated by hatred. It's just mad we made it.
Just mad we made
It's all out the cages. Cause you see how you God can save us. Gang related, motivated by hatred. It's just mad we made it. Rather see us all out the cages. Cause you see how you God can save us.
Pushing the block, we back in the make fun. Look at the bass of time. We're killing some taking the rear, taking my lips, a little woman, get bitches, sexy bitches, and we keep on kissing bitches. Rocking head is the pendulum was swinging, the angels are rocking the pieces, singing the space, the bitches like this, dropping niggas, they cooking the fish in the piece, using the peak on the people ways. Devils are pushing the weakness. Nobody prays, believing in Jesus, having to take the faith, leak the faith, never give a fuck, bro. I ain't bad, fuck with my gang, you get bang, you get fucked. Up, bang, bang, you don't give a fuck. Cut, cocaine, we ain't cut. Duck, no brain, lean in the cut. If you fuck with my gang, you get bang, you get fucked. Up, bang, bang, you don't give a fuck.
I can feel the devil creeping and I heard it once my soul late in the morning trying to fight it. He already got a hold, got a pocket full of cash, black rag by my side. It's gang life on me and we all down the ride. Put your up in the sky if you riding like you cheat. Spit the demons in the dark, pussy never trying to see. Got the status of a red dog, chop us off the tipping hard. Gamble with the scene and roll the dice and I'm a boy you got. Leader on the beat, but you had to put me in. Now I'm rolling with my gang like brothers and we have to get. Yeah, you got me tripping and the whiskey got me flipping and I'm always on my grind. So yo, I'm bound to catch you slipping, but I'm a pop another pill, open there to make you chill. My demon talk to me, say you kill. Put myself into the fucking ground. Do my blow up by the amps, forward off the line, your number 10, you a fucking mouse.
Duck, lean in the cut. If you fuck with my gang, you get bang, you get fucked. Up, bang, bang, you don't give a fuck. Cut, cocaine, we ain't cut. Duck, no brain, lean in the cut. If you fuck with my gang, you get bang, you get fucked. Up, bang, bang, you don't give a fuck.
Fuck my enemies, I'm looking over my shoulder, watching for police. I'm paranoid, these cops and steroids. Fingers and triggers just itching to squeeze. Yeah, the devil's on my back, trying to break me. And I ain't talked to God lately. I feel like happiness forsaking me. This gun, all it does is tempt me. I just crack the bottle, won't be long until it's empty. Oh, Mary Jane, won't you help me fly away? I don't want to feel the pressure and pain, but somehow I'm always stuck out in the rain. Me and you, we are not the same. Do more to make the track bang. I'm in the cut with a crack slack. Yeah, my memory's the tyrant. Ever since a child, I've been captivated by the violence. My eyes closed, don't hear the sirens. The coke and the pirates, we rise like the sun on the horizon.
Duck, lean in the cut. If you fuck with my gang, you get bang, you get fucked. Up, bang, bang, you don't give a fuck. Cut, cocaine, we ain't in the cut. Duck, no brain, lean in the cut. If you fuck with my gang, you get bang, you get fucked. Up, bang, bang, you don't give a fuck.
I've seen this moment in my dreams. I'll make a pact with you. With the gods as our witnesses. Let us pledge that the winner will allow the loser all the proper funeral
Watch,
rituals.
this fucking thing here is gonna give me the
There are no
copyright.
paths between lions and men.
What you know about this gang of
Wait a second, something else down
Yeah, he bound to make the majors, he don't even like sports. He puts free base by the ball all day long. He said fuck school, instead of going to class, he left to cook the weight back, pump packs to the money stack. No such thing as a dealer with villains. All I know is cold-hearted, bloodthirsty villain. Shit, I watch himself crack the pregnant women and children. I ain't trying to solve the problem, I'm a part of it. Finna fuck the world, no drink, got my throat numb. Liquor got me leaning, dropping my gun. Got a question for the Lord, why someone always end up dead when we having fun? Through a rose in the casket, time to move on. This is where I'm from, a place of no return. A dead end block where the cracks serve. Yeah, it's cool times till the bill of birth. I know death's coming, I'm just waiting my turn. Yeah, I'm drunk, sipping any yo, bro. Count pennies, I blow hard. Yeah, I'm shit with the crack, bro. Turn your baby mama's crib to a crack spot. From a block away, hit a chopper's break. Better watch what you say, cause you can end up with some cells in your back like have a nice day. I know this ain't no way to live where I'm from. It's the only way there is.
Fuck, it's the only way it is. All these other motherfuckers talking shit. Acting like they really shit, making money, never started rocking your life. True hustlers, boy, stand up. Ride or die, shit, can't ride.
I know this ain't no way to live. Where I'm from, it's the only way there is. I know this ain't no way to live. Where I'm from, it's the only way there is.
Never stop riding, breaking the laws. I'm freezing never like a pop fly. We facing the balls. You won't be shot by it. I ain't taking the loss. Like dog squeeze, that's some hot iron straight in the score. They could try to hot wire, but you faded to go on. Now your mama starts crying cause you fatally flawed. Your body drop, it's outline. The shotty pops with your outline. Face to the wall. We can brawl a pop olive, raging the war. The straight swords, it's just pop bottles breaking your jaws. You haters know we make it top dollar, baking the law. Just crack slanging, see the block models breaking them all. I get a rock swallow when I'm taking the chore. But if I see them cops following, we'll be shaking them all. The kid is living in graveyards, the chambers before we being not innocent, we dangerous. Doors walk, let it bang, and we walk in our cages. Man, if we take till we locked in our cages. Walking my way, and you drop and you break this. Talking your names, you'll get lost to the pavement. PK, drop on the strain, you're my prophet to say that you're caught as a base in a heartless place. Dog lost in my brains, if we walk with the gang, stay on to dangerous.
I know this ain't no way to live. Where I'm from, it's the only way there is. I know this ain't no way to live. Where I'm from, it's the only way there is.
Transition some parts of the GTA south and west over to a little bit of rain mixing in. Overnight tonight, we're down to a low minus 10 degrees.
Right now in downtown Toronto, we've got an overcast sky, -8, feeling like -13. 680 news time, 9:33.
It's two different kinds of air.
Few downsides to
Switching
home
back and
ownership.
forth.
The driveway will need a shoveling tomorrow. A snowfall warning is now in
Fuck
effect
your
for Toronto,
driveway.
the GTA, and for all of southern Ontario, calling for up to 15 centimeters to fall here in the city.
680's Phil Martino joining us live with what you can expect. Phil.
Scott, brace yourself. It's coming, and a lot of it. The first big snowfall of 2020. 680 News meteorologist Natasha Ramsahai says here in Toronto, most of the snow headed our way will fall during a 7-hour period. The window for that heaviest snowfall is expected to be between about 11 a.m. and 6 p.m., and that's when the majority of our 12 to 15 centimeters of snow will fall. City spokesperson Eric Holmes says Toronto road crews are ready to tackle the storm with 1,100 pieces of equipment and about 1,500 staff members.
I think the snow's supposed to start to fall around dawn on Saturday morning, so that's when the salt trucks will go up first. And then as we hit accumulation levels based on our service levels, you'll see plows out.
If you plan to drive tomorrow, OPP Sergeant Kerry Schmidt says, first, clear the snow off your vehicle.
And obviously, don't be in a rush or in a hurry and drive to the conditions, whatever they may be.
Schmidt says if you don't need to be out, stay off the roads and highways unless it's absolutely necessary. Phil Martino, 680 News. Meantime, out east, it's a dramatic scene in Newfoundland and Labrador as they get pummeled by a blizzard with up to 80 centimeters of snow expected to blanket the region. 680's Michelle Mackey joins us live with the latest. Michelle.
Christine, listen, I'm not trying to one-up Phil. Tomorrow's storm here in Ontario will be impactful. But the Weather Network meteorologist Chris Murphy, who's in St. John, says the storm pounding Newfoundland is so much stronger.
Very storm is going on in St. John's, Newfoundland right now. happened in Toronto and I was in Toronto, you would find me hiding under my bed with my thumb in my mouth rolled up in the fetal position.
Multiple communities have issued states of emergency, including St. John's, where the city says in a statement, all businesses are ordered to close and all vehicles except emergency vehicles are prohibited from using city streets.
I bet you can still get a 20
says for one woman, an emergency vehicle just didn't cut it.
There was a woman who was in Paradise, Newfoundland, and she was going into labor, and it was a skidoo. She got to the hospital in St. John's in the back of a skidoo.
Reporting live, I'm Michelle Mackey.
680 News Time, 9:36.
You were born on the back of a snowmobile. Fuck
now,
you.
The outbreak of a flu-like virus in central China that has killed 2 people and sickened dozens more. Canada now says it plans to take measures at some airports next week to identify people from the region who may have symptoms. The change comes as U.S. officials say 3 American airports will screen passengers arriving from central China for the virus. The Public Health Agency of China says the measures will include messaging on arrivals, screens at the Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver international airports, reminding travelers from Wuhan to inform a border services officer if they are experiencing flu-like symptoms. There will also be an additional health screening question added to electronic kiosks. The agency says the overall risk to Canadians is low.
680 News Time, 9:37. One person has been taken to hospital after a fire at an apartment building near Weston and Eglinton. The fire broke out at around 6 this evening on the 6th floor of a 10-story building. Paramedics say the victim suffered minor smoke inhalation. The fire is now out. Some residents were forced from their units on this cold night and have been sheltering in TTC buses. No word yet on the cause.
Forced from their homes for close to 17 months, residents displaced by fire at 650 Parliament now know when they'll be able to finally return home. 680's Mark Douglas is outside the high-rise and joins us with the latest.
About 1,500 tenants from this apartment building have been waiting almost 18 months just to hear this announcement.
The initial day for the first residents to return looks like it's going to be March 2nd.
That's Danny Roth, spokesperson for the landlord company, Wellesley Parliament Square property. The move-in will be staggered, 2 floors at a time, over a span of 11 weeks.
You certainly don't want them all arriving on the first day.
Roth says aside from some cosmetic work that might still need to be done, tenants will find their building fully functional, safe, clean, and with a new coat
I would
of paint
tell them all to
inside.
move in on the
It was back in August of
same
2018 when a 6-alarm electrical fire made the building unfit for occupancy. When it reopens again, rents will still be at the August 2018 prices. Outside 650 Parliament, I'm Mark Douglas.
I don't think they can legally raise it.
Designs, hats, and buttons ready to go.
Maybe,
Cynthia
but I
Mulligan
don't
joins
think
the
so.
president of the Elementary Teachers Union of Toronto amid rising tensions between teachers and the Ford government. This will be the scene outside elementary schools in Toronto, York Region, and Ottawa Carleton this Monday as elementary teachers launch their first one-day strike. ETFO has announced rotating strikes for Tuesday and Wednesday, and sources say the daily walkouts will continue until there is a deal or they escalate even further.
Educators in Ontario are drawing a line in the sand to say, we will not see education be eroded beyond recognition.
But it's not just public elementary teachers that are escalating action. On Tuesday, public high school teachers will be off the job in Toronto. 13 boards overall will be affected by the OSSTF strikes, and every English Catholic teacher will be on picket lines, leaving 550,000 Catholic students out of classrooms. Traffic and weather together on the ones next, and we'll have a look at gas prices in 30 seconds. 680 News Time, 9:39. Some live to ski, others ski to live. Introducing Bluemont, a Blue Mountain chalet living on 60-foot executive lots. Steps from the mountain, a lifetime of memories awaits you and your family. Chalets from $890,000. For more information or directions to our sales office, visit Fremont.com. Now, the 680 News gas price update, and Pro predicts the price will rise 1 cent at midnight to an average of $1.15.9 cents a liter at most GTA stations. 680 News Time, 9:40.
Some things just don't fit, like an SUV that doesn't suit your lifestyle. That's why Toyota offers
How do you know it's Dutch? They give you a clip you can put back on, like it's a little wire.
That's right for you. Lease the 2020
It's not the stupid little sticky tape that you gotta rip and throw away. You put it back on.
APR for 48 months
Freaking
or
Dutch
$0
people.
down, or finance from 3.99% APR for 36 months. Visit your local Ontario Toyota dealer or shoptoyota.ca. Some conditions apply.
Happy Chinese New Year! Mandarin is back with our dumpling festival for a limited time to celebrate Chinese New Year in style. Enjoy favorite dumplings like beef pot stickers, siu mai, har gao, and tasty banana dumplings for dessert. Plus, choose from other Chinese New Year features added to our award-winning buffet of over 100 dishes. Don't miss it. Chinese New Year at Mandarin ends February 23rd, while supplies last.
A celebration of taste, Mandarin.
680 News Time 9:51 with a look at the
I
roads.
don't know
Here's
why.
Bill
You're not
Bummy.
going to fucking
This report
close
brought to you
tag
by
me later.
Air Canada Vacations.
No, you have to do that.
You may
That's
want a
people like
vacation
that.
if you're on the DVP southbound or the eastbound Gardner. Heading into downtown, especially on the eastbound Gardner, because that is jammed from York over to Cherry. From Jarvis to Cherry, only one lane is open, combination of the long-term construction and now pothole repairs as well. So we already had the right lane gone for that long-term maintenance. Now they've blocked off the left lane for pothole repairs, so you go from 3 lanes to 1 when you get to
Did
Jarvis.
you do that fucking
That's why
yesterday?
it's
or the day
jammed from
before?
York over to Cherry, where the lane restrictions free up. We've also got the Jarvis ramp to the eastbound Gardner closed with the same issue. So if you're traveling through here, use the Lakeshore instead through downtown. Don't even bother with the eastbound Gardner. 2 problems now on the southbound Don Valley Parkway heading downtown. Approaching Don Mills, the left lane is blocked with a collision. Thanks to a traffic spotter for alerting me to this. We have a view of it on camera now. Tow trucks on scene, and it's starting to jam up quickly, in fact, from south of Eglinton to approaching Don Mills. Second problem is approaching Bayview Bloor. There's still a vehicle on the shoulder. Looks like he does, in fact, need a tow. One has arrived, and the Toronto Transportation crew is also there blocking the right lane. So as you approach Bayview Bloor, not much of a delay through this area, but the right lane is blocked with this second issue. In Oakville, looks like Burl Oak is now open again south of the QEW, where that tow truck was struck by the train near the train tracks, but looks like the investigation's finished, and that section of Burl Oak is now open once again. Kiss the cold goodbye with Air Canada Vacations until January 26th. Their Bye-Bye Winter event can get you to Curacao for loads less. Contact your travel agent for details. Your next report at 9:51, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
This evening, our minus 10 degrees is going to start rising to minus 6 by the morning and continuing up to minus 3 through the afternoon. That means the type of snow that is going to fall tomorrow is going to change from the light, fluffy snow over to the heavy, wet snow that's hard to shovel late in the day. Near 15 centimeters expected for Toronto. Slightly higher amounts up to 20 for the east end and about 10 to 15 out through the west end. That's because that's where we have the best chance of mixing in some rain Saturday evening. Sunday, though, everyone's back into lake effect flurries, on and off gusty northwest winds. Reduced visibility suddenly at times, so watch that travel on Sunday on the roadways. Temperatures falling from minus 2 to minus 6, wind chill minus 13. Overnight tonight, we're down to a low of minus 10 degrees.
And right now in downtown Toronto, minus 8 with the wind chill feels like minus 13. We have an overcast sky. Up at Pearson Airport, minus 9 and mostly cloudy. Coming up at health and lifestyle news at 9:48. If you're a cat owner, do you really know how little your little feline friend is feeling? We have some telltale signs up next. 680 News Time 9:44.
Hashtag Tim and Finn. Hey, Tim. Yes, it. So the radio show we're doing, we're still talking about sports, of course. Sure. Got a question, though. Not a big deal or anything. Since we're on the radio, I assume clothing is optional?
You do know we're still on TV, right?
So that's a yes?
Tim and Finn, serious about sports and fully clothed. Weekdays at 5 p.m. Watch on Sportsnet and listen on Sportsnet 590 The Fan through the Sportsnet app.
Every day, Canadians are buying homes and getting the wrong mortgage rates. Important announcement. If you have a mortgage closing in the next 60 days, 2.38% 5-year fixed mortgage rates are available at butlermortgage.ca. No matter what you were told or what you signed, you can still switch to 2.38% 5-year fixed. No gimmicks, no fees. Standard mortgages at 2.38% 5-year fixed. To learn if you qualify, go to butlermortgage.ca now.
License number 12118. High ratio fixed rate APR 2.39%.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
It's -8 with an overcast sky. Good evening from the 680 News Broadcast Center in downtown Toronto. I'm Christine Ritchie. Thanks for joining us tonight. Here are the top stories this hour. Get ready for the snow, whether that means reaching for the sled, shovel, book, or television remote. The system is expected to move in early tomorrow morning with the heaviest amounts hitting us between noon and 6 o'clock. Meantime, the city says about 1,500 people are ready to clear and salt roads. And our forecast winter storm, nothing compared to what's happening east of us. Parts of Newfoundland now under a state of emergency where they are getting walloped with hurricane force winds and up to 80 centimeters of snow overnight. And Canada's airports gearing up to screen passengers traveling from China after a flu-like virus has sickened dozens of people and killed 2 people in central China. 680 News Time, 9:46. Now 680 Sports from Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Here's Andy McNamara.
Thanks, Christine. The Raptors absolutely dominate the Wizards with a blowout 141-11 victory to earn their second straight win and tying a franchise record for most points in a single game. Toronto's Norm Powell led all scorers with 28 points. Raps are off to Minnesota to battle the Timberwolves Saturday. The Maple Leafs have only 1 win in their last 5, and Coach Sheldon Keefe said that the team needs to be more careful with the puck.
We don't want to be conservative in terms of giving up the puck and forcing ourselves into defensive postures. We want to be a team that retains the puck, but we do want to be a little more conservative when it comes to picking our spots when we give up the puck, such as when we shoot it.
Leafs host the Blackhawks next on Saturday. In the NFL, ex-Cowboys head coach Jason Garrett is now the new offensive coordinator of the New York Giants. And the Blue Jays add some infield depth, signing Ruben Tejada to a minor league deal. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime on the home of Tim and Sid on TV and radio. Sports at 590 The Fan.
680 News Time, 9:47.
Looking to sell your home? I'm Scott McGilvery. I've worked in Toronto for years, and I know that your home needs the best marketing to create the most demand. Contact Frank Leo and Associates at Remax West and start packing. Go to getleo.com today.
Do you consider traffic me time?
I mean, isn't it?
Was your last sandcastle made of snow?
It was mostly ice.
Do you think Puerto Plata is an appetizer?
I like it with salsa.
This is your Air Transat flight attendant, and I think you could use our vacation intervention promo.
Vacation?
Save up to $1,000 per couple on sound packages by going to transat.com or call your Marla travel professional. Air Transat. Vacation is calling.
Hey, Toronto, Scott McGilvery here. Need to sell your home on time? Frank Leo and Associates of Remax West spends millions of dollars in marketing to sell on your deadline at a price you agree to, or he will buy it. Go to getleo.com and start packing.
680 News Time, 9:48. Researchers at the University of Calgary have helped answer an age-old question. So how was your cat really feeling? A simple test has been devised to determine if your feline friend is in pain. 680's Tom Ross reports this will be helpful to both owners and vets.
It's always a common problem for fellow cat owners.
The cat wants something, but I don't know why.
Dr. Daniel Pang with UFC says managing pain can be, well, a bit of a pain.
Veterinarians struggle to identify pain in cats, and if we can't identify the pain, it also makes it very difficult to decide how much pain medication to give or decide even if the pain medication is working well.
It's a 3-step process: the ears, the eyes, and the whiskers. If the ears are forward and the eyes are wide, that indicates they're in good shape.
As they become more painful, the ears tend to flatten off
feelings,
and rotate
those are
backwards.
And if the whiskers are relaxed and slanted downwards, they should be comfortable. Also, you can look at how high they're carrying their head. Pang says tests over the last few years are encouraging.
So we can see their faces becoming much more relaxed and happy looking.
So stare at your furry friends for a while, and you can make sure they're in
No,
tip-top
I'm not
shape.
staring at a cat. You might think I'm being aggressive.
A Michigan man who
Is that what
bought
that
a
fucking sound
footstool
was?
at a resale shop after Christmas was stunned when his daughter-in-law unzipped the cushion and found more than $43,000 inside. After the shock wore off, Howard Kirby began the extraordinary step of returning the money to the former owner, saying it was the moral thing to do. The footstool was part of a living room set donated to a Habitat for Humanity store by a woman whose grandfather had died in July. Gives you faith.
Yeah, 43 grand in a fucking
Coming up,
seat
traffic
cushion?
and
What the
weather
hell?
together on the
I want to know the
ones
story
and
behind that. I don't talk about the money. Tell me the fucking story. You want the 43 grand in
in
cash.
town to talk about affordable housing. 680 News Time, 9:50.
You head out the front door and head to the car. Slide into the driver's seat and begin. Every time you start your car should be the start of an adventure. Where would yours take you? At Von Chrysler Fiat, we want you to be satisfied from the moment you walk in till the moment you drive off the lot. Come in today to start your adventure. Von Chrysler Fiat. We stand behind our cars. Join the family at VonChrysler.com.
You don't buy office chairs from the back of a truck, get suits from the Dollar Mart. Reuse yesterday's coffee, buy an office that's falling apart. Don't hire an intern as your CEO, raccoons to clear your trash. Treat clients to a fast food lunch, use dial up to save some cash. You get what you pay for, so be careful what you choose. Use original HP toner, and you just can't lose. 100% reliable, environmentally responsible, always trust original HP toner.
News time 9:51 now with traffic. Here's Kyle Bucking.
This report brought to you by Alterna Savings. Problems on the southbound DVP approaching Don Mills quickly cleared away. Volume improving through there. And we still have a problem on the southbound DVP approaching Bayview Bloor. The right lane is blocked here, and it's actually getting a little heavier here now, as everybody that was stuck behind that Don Mills issue has now made it down to Bayview Bloor. So bunching up just a little bit. Right lane is blocked, and there was a tow truck on scene of this stolen vehicle, but he left, so I guess the driver didn't like the looks of him. Maybe there's another one coming. We'll see. If you're traveling this stretch of the south DVP, again, the only delay really is just as you approach Bayview Bloor, and it's relatively minor. If you're on the northbound Don Valley, no problems there. Same with the westbound Gardner, but the eastbound Gardner's a different story. From Jarvis over to Cherry, had that long-term construction for quite a while now, a few months. It was reduced to 2 lanes. Tonight, it's reduced to 1 lane because of pothole repairs. So just as you're losing the right lane for the long-term construction, you're also losing the left lane at Jarvis. You go from 3 lanes to 1. Just like that. So it's heavy from York over to Cherry through those lane restrictions with the construction and pothole repairs. And the Jarvis ramp to the eastbound Gardner is also closed. Very heavy on the eastbound Gardner, so I'd suggest taking the Lakeshore instead. No other highway problems, but we do have a closure off the highways. Danforth Ave is now closed east of Woodbine from Glen Hill to Oak Hill. That's a weekend closure, and it's for crane hoisting. Won't reopen until Sunday at 9 p.m. Saving for retirement doesn't have to be scary. Talk to an advisor at Alterna Savings about the best plan for you. Visit alterna.ca to book an appointment. Alterna Savings. Discover the good in banking. Your next report at 10:01, and with the extended forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
Temperatures this evening, -10, rising to -6 by morning, rising to -3 by the afternoon, but it doesn't stop there. We will continue up to 2 degrees by Saturday evening. So we've got this transition from lake effect flurries overnight tonight, light, fluffy, blowing snow tomorrow morning, heavy snow between noon and 6, and then switching over to that wet snow that's hard to shovel late in the day. Gusty winds will be blowing it and reducing visibility, and slight chance we'll mix in some rain Saturday evening. On Sunday, we're back to on and off lake effect flurries, gusty northwest winds, temperatures falling through the day to reach -6, wind chill -13. And then by Monday, we will finally calm things down in the weather department, mainly sunny skies, lighter winds, and a high of -4. Temperatures this evening near -10, rising overnight.
And we're sitting at -8 right now in downtown Toronto with an overcast sky. Up at Pearson Airport, -9 and partly cloudy.
This extended forecast is brought to you by your local Ontario Subaru dealers. Celebrate the worst of winter in a Subaru. Hurry into your local Ontario Subaru dealer during the Bring On Winter event for lease and finance rates from 0.99%.
Connect with an audience of over 200,000 looking to improve their home and garden this year. The GTA Home and Reno Show and the National Home Show are coming soon, and exhibit opportunities are running out. Connect with a qualified audience of homeowners in a face-to-face setting and grow your business this year. Act fast and reserve your spot today. Visit TorontoHomeshow.com/radio or call 416-644-5405 for more information.
Coming up at 10 o'clock, the latest on a winter storm heading towards Toronto early tomorrow morning. It's expected to leave about 15 centimeters of snow in the city, with larger amounts north of the city. The majority of the snow is expected to fall between noon and 6 o'clock.
Breaking news from a source you can trust.
Simply ask your smart speaker to play 680 News. It's necessary. It's the world that we're in right now. It's where things are.
One of the world's music stars was in Toronto today. He was here to talk about the new condo development he's helping design. Pharrell Williams says the building's going up at Yonge and Eglinton. And not just luxury condos, though. They will contain rental and affordable housing units.
Necessary. It's the world that we're in right now. It's where things are. And if you're not thinking about a progressive community, then it's exclusion, not inclusion.
And groundbreaking begins this summer. Coming up in a minute's time, we'll have the business report.
On January 18th, the Today Showstopper at TSC will be from IT Cosmetics, featuring It's Your New Year Blow Away 4-piece collection. You get the Bye Bye Under Eye Concealer, Bye Bye Pores Blush, Heavenly Luxe 2-in-1 Brush, plus the all-new Dry Bar Lash Blowout Mascara for lavishly thick eyelashes. Watch for it on January 18th when it's the Today Showstopper. Shop tsc.ca. Today's shopping choice.
If you work hard and play harder, then the Covenant House Guts and Glory Team Obstacle Challenge is for you. This unique athletic fundraiser will help homeless youth while building team spirit and pushing individual limits. 45 teams of 6 will compete in the ultimate face-off. 10 top obstacles will test your speed, agility, strength, and power. You will feel the adrenaline. Do you have the guts? It's all about the glory. Raise more than your heart rate this February. Learn more at gutsglorychallenge.ca.
9:56 now, the 680 News Business Report. Here's Carl Garnish.
Can smartwatches help us predict infectious diseases like the flu? Well, according to a first-of-its-kind study by Scripps Research Translational Institute, the answer is yes, doing real-time flu prediction in 5 U.S. states using resting heart rate and sleep tracking data from Fitbit users. The resting heart rate tends to spike during infectious episodes, and as wearable tech improves, researchers hope the future could mean access to 24/7 real-time data, identifying flu rates on a daily basis. Fitbit at the close up 1.3% to $6.68. And the tech giant that is trying to acquire Fitbit continues to move higher after joining the $1 trillion market cap club. Google parent Alphabet reaching a fresh all-time high today of $1,480.55, getting a price target lift from UBS, citing positive signs for its cloud computing business. At the close, the stock was higher by 2% to $1,479.52. Fresh record closing highs for Wall Street as U.S. data continues to paint a positive picture of the American economy as trade tensions ease and investors look over earnings. U.S. home construction data showed a surge to 13-year highs in December. The Dow is higher for a fifth day in a row, up 50 points to 29,348. A three-day rally for the S&P and NASDAQ. The S&P added 12 points, 3,329. NASDAQ gained 31 points to 9,388. The TSX locked in its fifth consecutive record closing high, up by 74 points, 17,559, a five-day rally. After posting its biggest loss ever yesterday, Bombardier continued to fall today. A big loser on base, shares of the Canadian train and plane maker lost 8.2% at the close to $1.12, getting a downgrade from S&P Global Ratings. We have gains for gold and oil. Gold rose $9.80, finishing at $1,560. Oil up 2 cents, remaining around $58.54 a barrel, while the Canadian dollar dropped by 0.15 of a cent to 76.53 cents U.S. At the Business Center, I'm Carl Garnish.
Something's always coming up. Home improvements, kids' education, car repairs, credit card bills, maybe even...
This shit's crazy, yeah. UK's worst pedo strangled with guitar string, condoms shoved down throat. The worst pedophile in the UK has been murdered after being strangled with guitar string and left for dead with pens and condoms shoved down his throat. Richard Huckle was jailed for sexually abusing more than 200 Malaysian children. He was found dead in his Yorkshire jail cell in October. The fuck? Sources, why are you telling us now? Sources told the UK Sun that the 33-year-old sex fiend was also stabbed. Quote, he wasn't just stabbed, he was strangled with a guitar string, a source told the newspaper. Police say they have arrested a fellow convict, 29, in the grisly slaying. Why? Huckle was slammed with 22 life sentences in 2016 after he confessed to 71 charges of sexual abuse. The victims ranged between 6 months and 12 years old. The sicko was indiscriminate about his victims, girls, boys, toddlers, and a 6-month-old baby wearing a diaper. Huckle, a former photographer, even compiled a manual for pedophiles teaching them how to abuse children and not get caught. He posted his evil musings on the dark web. One of his tips, I'm not going to tell you, And I'm not going to tell you this one. Aussie cops nailed him after smashing pedo website The Love Zone, which had a staggering 9,000 members before it was shuttered. As he was jailed in 2014, a friend of one victim yelled, "1,000 deaths is too good for you." Court heard that he used his Baptist religion as his grooming school. I don't know what the fuck that means. I'm so sad. I think I'm gonna roll another joint for that.
As we brace for snow,
I'm gonna
Newfoundland
cry
in the
over
midst of a
that.
dangerous blizzard.
So
St. John's
sad.
declares a state of emergency.
After nearly 18 months out of their homes, residents of 650 Parliament have been given a long-awaited move-back-in date.
No service all weekend long at a stretch of the Young University line from St. Clair to Shepherd Station.
Is that line
Raptors
1 or
line
line
up the
6?
Wizards to win their second straight, and the Maple Leafs get ready for the Blackhawks. Sports at 15. Markets continue to soar, reaching fresh record-closing highs. TSX up by 74 points, Dow added 50, and Best Buy is investigating its CEO. Business at 26.
News time 10:01.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones at the Traffic Center. Good evening, Barb Andrews.
Good evening. This report is brought to you by 407 ETR. We still have some problems on the southbound DDP. If you're on the southbound DDP approaching Bayview Bloor, we still have a stalled vehicle off to the side. We have MTO crews tying up a right lane. Looks like a tow truck is now arriving on scene as well. But again, you will find the right lane blocked as you approach Bayview Bloor. So some delays on the southbound DDP as you make your way towards that area. As you continue on the southbound DDP in good shape. Same story with the westbound Gardner. No issues to pass along as you make your way out of downtown. Looking at the westbound QEW, we do have construction at Winston Churchill in the left lane. Eastbound QEW looks good. Eastbound Gardner, though, a busy drive. That's because we have pothole repairs taking place. Eastbound Gardner between Jarvis and Cherry, it's down to a single lane because of those pothole repair work, and also the ramp to Jarvis from the eastbound Gardner, and that is closed. You're going to find traffic backed up from about York. Otherwise, though, northbound DVP in pretty good shape. Same story with the 401 and both directions. No recent troubles to pass along. 407 ETR saves drivers 30 million hours of time each year, giving you more time for the things that matter most to you. Visit 407etr.com. Your next report coming up at 10:11. And now with the forecast, Natasha Ramsahai.
Temperatures hovering between -9 and -10 overnight tonight, but then rising to -6 by morning. Watch for lake effect flurries overnight, especially along the lakeshore for some slick roads. The main system gets going around 9-10 o'clock tomorrow morning, heaviest through the afternoon, and a slight chance we'll mix in some rain Saturday evening for a few hours, and that'll make for some slushy conditions. That's going to be especially along the lakeshore westward. Higher amounts, up to 20 centimeters expected out through York, Durham. Probably in the 15 centimeter range for Toronto. Afternoon temperature -3 degrees. Tonight we are going to have near -9 degrees overnight.
And right now we're sitting at -8, feeling like -13 with the wind chill. We have an overcast sky. Up at Pearson Airport, -9 and mostly cloudy. 680 News Time, 10:03.
Get the snow shovels ready. All of southern Ontario, including the GTA, under a snowfall warning.
At 680, Phil Martino tells us, depending on where you live, you can expect between 15 and 20 centimeters of snow. This major snow event gets underway around 9 a.m. 680 News meteorologist Natasha Ramsahai says snow intensity will be a big problem throughout the day.
Even though we're calling for about 15 centimeters of snow, the majority of that will fall in about 7 hours. The window for that heaviest snowfall is expected to be between about 11 a.m. and 6 p.m.
OPP Sergeant Carrie Schmidt is urging motorists to slow down and drive according to the conditions.
With the snow coming down, the blowing snow predicted, as well as the accumulation on the highways, it will be a tough challenge.
City spokesperson Eric Close tells me Toronto road crews are ready to tackle the snow with 1,100 pieces of equipment and about 1,500 staff members. Once the snow starts accumulating, snowplows will head out. I'm Phil Martino.
Meantime, out east, Newfoundland and Labrador are under a state of emergency as they brace for around 75 centimeters of snow and hurricane-force winds. With more on the massive blizzard, we're joined live by 680's Michelle Mackey. Michelle.
Yeah, Scott, if you think tomorrow will be bad,
Let's take a trip to Newfoundland. Snowfall rates in the east have been as high as 10 centimeters an hour. A total of 50 to 75 centimeters of snow is expected for eastern parts of the province, and wind gusts have reached 120 kilometers an hour. And this won't end until Saturday afternoon. Meteorologist Chris Murphy of the Weather Network is in St. John's and says this is all thanks to a weather bomb.
That's a bona fide term. Here's another way to look at it. This was a little storm that became a big storm in a hurry.
As a result, multiple communities have issued states of emergency, including St. John's.
Basically meant that anybody that were not emergency personnel were not supposed to be out on the road because the plows need to clear it, and anybody who has a car left on the road.
If nobody's supposed to be on the road, why do you need
to go on Twitter, you will see exactly what he means. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Mackey. 680 News Time at 10:05. Fire crews remain at the scene of a 2-alarm apartment fire on Weston Road tonight, just north of Eglinton. Toronto Fire says it started in a unit on the 6th floor of the 10-story building. One person was rescued from the unit and taken to hospital for smoke inhalation. No one else was inside the unit at the time, and the fire is now out.
Residents displaced by a fire in 2018 in St. Jamestown now have their long-awaited move back in date. 680's Mark Douglas is at the scene at 650 Parliament.
The building will finally be ready for moving back home starting March 2nd.
The building will be fully functional. The building will be safe. All life safety systems will have been tested, secured. We will have all the necessary permits.
And Danny Roth, spokesperson for Wellesley Parliament Square property, says there's fresh paint in the halls and some apartments will have new finishes in the kitchen or the bathroom. About 1,500 residents were forced out after a 6-alarm electrical fire in August of 2018, and they've been out ever since. Their rent will still be at the same prices as back then. The move-in will be staggered 2 floors at a time, starting with the top floors down. Outside 650 Parliament, I'm Mark Douglas.
The one-day teacher strike set for public elementary schools here in Toronto and in York region is a go for Monday morning. The head of the union representing Ontario's public elementary school teachers says it will begin rotating strikes on Monday after the province failed to return to the bargaining table. During Monday's strike, the Toronto District School Board says independently run daycares in elementary schools will remain open, and the school board's extended day programs will also be open to currently enrolled students. Meantime, municipalities in York region have posted available drop-in programs online. The ETFO will be holding a second walkout at 4 boards outside of the GTA on Tuesday.
The Prime Minister offering financial assistance and other measures for families of the victims of the Ukrainian passenger jet that was shot down by the Iranian military, killing all on board, including 57 Canadians and 29 permanent residents.
The Prime Minister has unveiled a package of supports in the wake of this national tragedy, including financial compensation.
We'll give families of the victims who are Canadian citizens or permanent residents $25,000 per victim to assist with their immediate needs.
Those needs include funerals and travel costs, although Trudeau stresses Iran must still compensate these families because the regime bears full responsibility. The government is also offering families free legal advice, and the Prime Minister says consular work is still underway to bring the remains of their loved ones back home.
There have been no Canadians returned to Canada at this point, but we are expecting the first ones to come back in the coming days.
Meanwhile, our Foreign Affairs Minister met with his Iranian counterpart to push the need for a thorough investigation. The Prime Minister refused to discuss potential consequences for Iran, saying right now his focus is on the families. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
680 News Time, 10:08. Toronto police are investigating an alleged sex assault on the TTC. The investigation stems from a post on Instagram describing the alleged assault of a teenage girl that happened on the subway yesterday. The post includes a photo of the suspect. Several women then responded with similar allegations involving the same man. Toronto police say the TTC filed the report based on the post earlier today. The TTC says it is assisting police with the investigation.
If you plan on taking public transit this weekend because of all the snow that's coming, keep in mind there is a subway closure. There will be no subway service on Line 1 between Shepherd Yonge and St. Clair stations to accommodate Eglinton Crosstown Light Rail Transit construction. The TTC saying it will use this opportunity to perform maintenance work as well. Shuttle buses will operate instead. Regular service resuming Monday morning. Coming up in 30 seconds, we'll check on the price at the pumps. 680 News Time, 10:09.
You're listening to 680 News.
Help buy credits.
Hi there. I'm looking for a home renovation loan.
Wow, that's quite the...
This is the Vegas. This says police investigating social media post about alleged incident on TTC. Toronto police are looking into a report of an alleged incident on the TTC. What is the incident? An Instagram user posted that a girl between 16 to 18 years old came up to her on the subway and shared an incident that had just occurred on the train with a man sitting next to her. Several other women have since shared similar experiences of alleged incidents by the same man. What is the incident? The alleged victim of the incident also responded, thanking the user for sharing her story. The Instagram user also said in an updated post that they had received messages from at least 5 other women. It was posted Thursday afternoon and currently has over 2,300 comments. TTC spokesperson Stuart Green tells City News they are aware of the incident. Which one? The post or the girl telling the girl or the thing that happened to her? Which one? What is the incident? Quote, unfortunately, they do happen from time to time. What happened? We don't always know, though, when they happen. Somebody can report them after the fact directly to police, and unless police come to us looking for further information, we wouldn't know that. Sometimes it's reported directly to us, and we can get police involved as well. We're a big system. Okay, we're a big system. We're a busy system. We have almost 2 million people a day that are moving around our system, but we want it to be as safe as possible, both for our customers and our employees, added Green. Toronto police say the TTC filed a report based on the post on Friday morning. So if I didn't just hear that, I would have no fucking idea what's the incident. What happened? Did he choke to death in front of you? Did he vomit? Did he fart or something? Like, what did he do?
Towards Baby Bloor, where the right lane is still blocked. If you are traveling along the westbound Gardner, no major issues to pass along heading out of downtown, but coming into downtown, that's where we have a pretty big backup. Eastbound Gardner delays anywhere from about York to Cherry. That's because eastbound Gardner between Jarvis and Cherry, it is down to a single lane, and that is for pothole repair work. Also, the ramp to Gardner is closed because of that repair work taking place. So again, just a busy drive. It bunches up eastbound Gardner from about York to Cherry because it's down to a single lane. If you are heading into downtown, you may want to try the Lakeshore instead as an alternate to get around that. Northbound DVP looks good up towards the 401 onto the 404, and looking at the 401 both directions, no major issues to pass along. Take winter by storm. Enjoy a $5,000 Audi Quattro credit on a 2019 Q7 and a complimentary maintenance package now at AudiQueensway.ca. Your next report coming up at 10:21 with the forecast. Natasha Ramza, hi.
This evening, temperatures right around -10, rising to -6 by the morning. We'll have lake effect flurries overnight tonight across the South GTA along the lake. But really, that snow really gets going around 9 a.m. with the heaviest falling right through the middle of the day. And starting to switch over to that heavy wet snow. That's going to be hard to shovel late in the day. So make a couple of passes with that shovel through the day. Gusty winds as well, blowing that snow around. Afternoon temperature -3, rising to 2 degrees Saturday night. So there's a chance we can mix in some rain downtown westward. And then Sunday, we're back into lake effect flurries. On and off, reduced visibility. A little bit of sun mixed in there as well. Gusty northwest winds. And we're looking at temperatures falling from -2 down to -6. Tonight, we're down to a low of -10 degrees.
And right now in downtown Toronto, -8, feeling like -13 with the wind chill, even overcast sky. Here's an airport, -9 there with a mostly cloudy sky. 680 News Time, 10:13.
It's the end of an era on The Simpsons as Hank Azaria says he will no longer voice the character Apu.
What are you thinking?
Apu is an Indian immigrant. The role has become controversial with accusation that is a racist caricature. Azaria tells Slash Film that he and the producers all agree it is the right decision. Coming up in 60 seconds, we'll recap your top stories.
To make The Simpsons politically correct. The fucking point of the show. Jesus fucking Christ. This defeated the purpose of the fucking show.
It's on now. North America's largest indoor boat show. The best place to see boats is the best place to buy them. The Toronto International Boat Show, presented by the Toronto Star. January 17th to 26th at the Enercare Center.
We are summer. Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Let's
Visit TorontoBoatShow.com.
The winter sales event is on at Mercedes-Benz Durham with exclusive offers on 2020 models. Lease a 2020 GLC 300 4MATIC SUV equipped with premium and sport package from $696 per month with zero down. Or find special savings on all demo models. And existing Mercedes-Benz customers receive an additional 1% lease or finance rate reduction. Mercedes-Benz Durham, 2019 Star Dealer, 20 minutes east of the DVP.
Part of the Zankin Auto Group.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
Overcast, -8, feeling like -13 in downtown Toronto. Good evening from the 680 News Broadcast Center. I'm Scott Burnett.
And I'm Christine Ritchie. Here are the top stories this hour.
See snow, go slow. That advice from police going to come in handy tomorrow. And how a snowfall warning in effect for Toronto, the GTA, and all of southern Ontario.
That'll help with black
15
ice.
centimeters of snow here in the city, starting with light flurries overnight, getting heavy by late Saturday morning. To put our weather worries into perspective, Newfoundland and Labrador getting slammed by a weather bomb, expecting up to 80 centimeters of snow and a 15-meter storm surge. And a 2-alarm fire on the 6th floor of an apartment building on Weston Road north of Eglinton, sending residents out into the cold tonight. One person had to be rescued and taken to hospital for smoke inhalation. The fire is now at 680 News Time, 10:15. It's time for 680 Sports. From Sportsnet 590 The Fan, Andy McNamara.
Thank you, Scott. Well, the Raptors tie a franchise best in points down at Scotiabank Arena.
The Raptors taking care of business tonight to improve to 27-14 with the blowout victory, 140-111 the final.
Eric Smith with the call on Sportsnet 590 The Fan as the Raptors dummy the Wizards to win their second straight. More good news for Toronto's Fred VanVleet is expected to return tomorrow versus Minnesota. The Maple Leafs have only one win since January 4th and hope to finish off their homestand on a positive when they welcome in the Chicago Blackhawks Saturday night. Around the NHL, Penguins edge Detroit 2-1 in overtime. Ducks also winners in OT by a 2-1 score against Carolina. Tampa Bay stomping the Jets 6-1 in the third. And in golf, Canada's Brooke Henderson has a share of the lead at the LPGA season opening Diamond Resorts Tournament of Champions. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime on the home of Tim Anstead on TV and radio. Sports at 590 The Fan.
680 News Time, 10:17.
First and fast.
Breaking news when it happens on 680 News.
Sometimes just an idea isn't enough to make your dream renovation become a reality. Leverage the equity you have in your home and turn your house into the space you've always dreamed of. Whether it's home renovations, college tuition, or the trip you've always wanted to surprise your family with, now's the time to let your house lend a hand. Whether you need $20, $30, or $300,000, Capital Direct is here to help. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-CAPITAL. CapitalDirect.ca.
I'm Kerry Schmidt with the Ontario Provincial Police. OPP officers respond to collisions on our roads every day. Most of these collisions can be prevented, especially the ones involving alcohol. You can help to keep our roads safe by always having a plan for a safe ride home. Have a designated driver, take a cab, stay overnight, or use public transit. And you can report a suspected impaired driver by calling 911.
A message from Arrive Alive Drive Sober and Operation Lookout.
680 News Time, 10:18.
New data finds smartwatches might help us prevent infectious diseases like the flu. 680 business editor Carl Garnish explains.
It's wearable tech to the rescue. According to the first ever study by Scripps Research Translational Institute, researchers achieved real-time flu prediction in 5 U.S. states by using resting heart rate and sleep tracking data from Fitbit users. The resting heart rate tends to spike during infectious episodes. And as wearable tech improves, researchers say increased access to 24/7 real-time data could make it possible to identify rates of influenza on a daily basis, which would allow us to respond faster to outbreaks and prevent further spread and infection. Reports claim influenza results in 65,000 deaths worldwide annually, with around 7% of working adults and 20% of children under the age of 5 getting the flu each year. The research was published in the Lancet Digital Health Journal. At the Business Center, I'm Carl Garnish.
Cruise line Royal Caribbean blaming an Indiana man for a fall that killed his granddaughter.
Royal Caribbean has filed court documents citing video evidence that Salvatore Anello leaned his upper body out of the 11th floor open window on the cruise ship for several seconds. He then picked up 18-month-old granddaughter Chloe Wigan and held her near and outside of the window for 34 seconds before he lost his grip and she fell. Royal Caribbean says Anello was recklessly endangering her life. The family suing the cruise line for negligence. Royal Caribbean wants the lawsuit dismissed. Anello's facing a criminal charge of negligent homicide. Ryan Burrow, ABC News.
And GO trains are moving once again on the Lakeshore West Line after a tow truck was struck on the tracks. It happened after 6:30 this evening. No one was hurt, but there was damage to the tow truck and the train. Metrolink says there may still be some delays and cancellations on the line. Coming up in 60 seconds, traffic and your extended forecast.
680 News Time at 10:20.
This is your breaking news station, 680 News.
Are you struggling to lose weight? At the Bernstein Diet and Health Clinics, we've been helping people lose weight and feel great for over 40 years. And we can help you lose up to 20 pounds per month without exercise or diet pills. Whether you want to lose 10 pounds, 30 pounds, or more, our team of nurses and doctors will ensure that your weight loss is healthy and long-lasting. So stop struggling and start succeeding. Call us today at 1-888-DRB-DIET or visit drbdiet.com to learn more.
Listen up. Lazy Boy is completely overstocked and they need to move furniture fast. It's music to my ears. I hear there's crazy amounts of everything in the store. They're so desperate to move inventory and make room for all their new items that everything's priced to go. Hurry. Once it's gone, it's gone.
Live life comfortably, Lazy Boy.
Don't pay until 2021 during the inventory overstock sell-off at 9 GTA stores plus Kitchener.
680 News Time 10:21.
Traffic and weather together on the ones at the traffic center. Barb Andrews.
This report brought to you by TSC. Some good news. Southbound DVP approaching Bayview Bloor stop vehicle cleared out of the way. All lanes are open and not really seeing any backup as you make your way on the southbound DVP through that area. Westbound Gardner continues to be in good shape, but we still have those problems on the eastbound Gardner as you make your way into downtown. Lots of delays anywhere from York down towards Cherry. Between Jarvis and Cherry, it's down to a single lane, and that is for pothole repair work. So already we did have some lane restrictions through that stretch because of long-term road work, but now we're down to a single lane for those repairs taking place. As well, the ramp to Jarvis from the eastbound Gardner's closed for that repair work. So if you're heading into downtown, may want to try the Lakeshore as an alternate to get around that. Otherwise, our major routes in good shape. 427, 403, no recent problems. QEW westbound Winston Churchill, we do have construction in the left lane. 401 looks good both directions. Haven't come across any major delays there to pass along. And on our roads, Rutherford, both directions between Westburn and Peter Rupert. That's just east of Kiel. It is closed both directions. That is for construction. Treat yourself to the IT Cosmetics. It's your New Year blow away 4-piece collection featuring the Lash Blowout Mascara. Save big at TSC tomorrow. Shop tsc.ca. Your next report at 10:31 with the forecast. Natasha Ramsahai.
Evening temperature -10, and then we will be rising overnight tonight. We should reach around -3 by the afternoon. We've got some lake effect flurries tonight, but really the main snow system starts going tomorrow morning. Heaviest falling between noon and 6. Watch for those winds. It'll be blowing it around, so that's reducing that visibility out on the roadways. If you don't have to be out, don't. We've got a little bit of rain mixing in along the lake westward Saturday evening as temperatures rise to 2 degrees, and then Sunday, colder again, mainly cloudy with lake effect flurries. We'll get some sunshine in there, but that cold front will come through Sunday midday with a squall line of snow with suddenly reduced visibility. Very brief, but you got to watch for it. And then temperatures falling to -6, wind chill -13. Finally, things calm down on Monday, mainly sunny with a high of -4. Overnight tonight, we're down to a low of -10.
And we're sitting at -8 with the wind chill now feeling like a -14. We have an overcast sky. Up at Pearson Airport, -8 and mostly cloudy there.
Coming up at 10:30, a snowfall warning in effect for Toronto, the GTA, and all of southern Ontario, calling for up to 15 centimeters of snow here in the city. We'll have the details for you straight ahead.
680 News Time 10:23.
The cold, savage winds are upon us, and only Hyundai can save us now.
The last buddy the heated seats, heated steering wheels, and full link remote starters.
Don't fear winter, love it.
it from the warmth of a new Hyundai. During Mississauga and Rexdale Hyundai's iHeart Winter event, enjoy no-charge all-wheel drive or don't pay for 90 days on select models. Plus, existing owners get up to $750 in loyalty incentives.
Get the super deal from the Superfan now.
Visit MississaugaHyundai.com and RexdaleHyundai.ca.
When you need to know.
Breaking news.
There's a new high-profile candidate for the federal conservative race. Traffic.
The southbound DVP ran to Lakeshore. The traffic light timing is just completely off.
Weather.
10 to 20 millimeters of ice buildup, possible locally even higher than that.
When you need to know.
We're here.
This is 680 News.
If you're under 25, chances are this isn't news to you, but the viewership numbers are huge on TikTok.
If you're watching videos on your phone, there's a really good chance you're watching short ones on the app TikTok. Use of the video sharing app jumped 375% in the U.S. last year to 85 million hours. And that's watching videos that are capped at 15 seconds from content creators like Zach King.
Wait a minute.
The app Any State of Mobile report says people spent more time on TikTok than other popular video streaming services like Amazon Prime Video and HBO. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Coming up in 60 seconds, we'll head over to the Business Center and check in with Mr. Carl Garnish.
680 News Time, 10:25.
Weather forecast you can bank on, because if we're off by more than 3 degrees,
You can win our growing cash jackpot. The 680 News Weather Guarantee. Enter online at 680news.com.
This winter, vacation better in the Sunshine State with Sunwing's popular BOGO sale. Book one direct flight to St. Pete Clearwater International Airport and you'll get the second at 50% off. Secure your winter escape to America's best beaches with our best price guarantee. Unforgettable memories await on Florida's Gulf Coast in St. Pete Clearwater. Book by January 17th with your travel agent or
Some things just don't fit. Like a car that doesn't suit your lifestyle. That's why Toyota offers the fun-to-drive Corolla with available winter features like heated seats and heated side mirrors. Find the Toyota that's right for you. Lease the 2020 Corolla L for as low as $68 weekly at 2.99% APR for 48 months with $0 down. Or finance at 0.49% APR for 36 months. Visit your local Ontario Toyota dealer or shoptoyota.ca. Some conditions apply.
680 News Time, 10:26.
Now the business report. We go to the Business Center and check in with Carl Garnish.
Today in Wall Street end the week with record closing highs again, continuing to charge into new territory. The TSX locked in its 5th consecutive record closing high, while the Dow moves further above the 29,000 mark. Investors continue to cheer positive economic data, low interest rates, and progress on both the U.S.-China trade deal and the U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade agreement, also known as the NAFTA replacement. It was a 5-day rally for the TSX, up by 74 points, 17,559. The country's two major railroads in focus as they got a price target lift from Scotiabank. Shares of Canada's largest railway, CN Rail, at the close on Bay up 0.7% to $125.62, while rival CP Rail was higher by 0.8% to $343.08. Oil added 2 cents, remaining around $58.54 a barrel. Baker Hughes reported that the number of active U.S. rigs drilling for oil saw a weekly gain of 14 to 673. Here in Canada, the number of oil and natural gas rigs saw a weekly gain of 41 to 244. Canadian crude index higher by 0.2% to finish about $37 a barrel, while the Canadian dollar dropped by 15/100ths of a cent, closing at 76.53 cents U.S., but gold was up $9.80, finishing at $1,560. Stateside, the Dow was higher for a 5th straight day, adding 50 points, a 3-day rally for the S&P and NASDAQ. S&P up by 12 points, the NASDAQ gained 31. Shares of Facebook at the close were higher by 0.1% to $222.14, even as the social media company is being sued by 4 potential competitors who accuse it of anti-competitive behavior. The group is asking a judge to order CEO Mark Zuckerberg as well to give up control of the social media behemoth. The suit alleges that if Facebook is not forced to sell its WhatsApp and Instagram assets, it'll integrate them into the social network, affecting future competition in relevant markets. After the closing bell, U.S. shares of Best Buy were lower by more than 1%, as the electronics retailer says it's investigating allegations that its CEO had an inappropriate relationship with an executive that has since left the company. At the Business Center, I'm Carl Garnish.
Casino Rama Resort wants you to head outdoors for some winter fun. Receive ballots now until January 31st with a grand prize draws on February 8th, where you could win $10,000 cash, a 2019 MXZ Sport 600 Ski-Doo with a trailer, or a 2020 Ford Explorer. Must be present to win at 19 years or older. No purchase necessary. Promotion is open for members and non-members. Play smart. For full details and conditions for entry, visit CasinoRama.com. Absolutely incredible. That's what you'll say when visiting Royal Lighting's huge Midtown showroom and see the fabulous savings on hundreds upon hundreds of the latest lighting styles. Royal Lighting features the best styles in chandeliers, floor and table lamps, wall and ceiling fixtures, ceiling fans, vanity and outdoor lighting. Royal Lighting's professionally trained staff will help you find the perfect light at the perfect price. Perfect price. Royal Lighting, 1549 Avenue Road, north of Lawrence. It's time for the 680 News Business Travelers Forecast, brought to you by Queen Smith MBA in Toronto. Earn your MBA from Queen Smith School of Business right here in Toronto. Find out more at smithmbaintoronto.com.
Vancouver tomorrow, light rain, 5 degrees for the high. Ottawa, light snow and minus 13. Halifax, clear and minus 12. In Dallas, Texas, clear and 7 degrees. Chicago, overcast and minus 10. Boston, light snow and minus 3 tomorrow. New York City, rain and 2 degrees. This is CFTR 680 News at 10:30.
Number one for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Here are Scott Burnett and Christine Ritchie. Good evening. This is Friday, January 17th.
Here's what's making news right now.
Snow, and more snow. All of southern Ontario is under a snowfall warning. That includes us here in the GTA. We could see between 15 and 20 centimeters of snow. If you think the weather here at home will be bad, just remember it could be worse.
Basically, St. John's and much eastern Newfoundland is closed.
Blizzard warnings in states of emergency in Newfoundland. Residents of the 6th floor of an apartment building in Weston taking refuge on this cold night in an emergency TTC bus shelter after a fire forces them out.
Durham's police chief, who is currently under investigation for alleged corruption, has announced he wants the administrator overseeing his force removed.
Maple Leafs, get ready for the Chicago Blackhawks, and the Raptors absolutely dominate the Washington Wizards. Sports at 45. Another alternative meat maker could make its way to Canada. North American markets once again reaching record-closing highs. The Dow up by 50 points. TSX added 74. Business at 56.
10:31.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Barb Andrews. This report brought to you by Mark Feldstein and Associates. Still seeing lots of delays on the eastbound Gardner as you make your way into downtown. It's because we have some pothole repair work taking place between Jarvis to Cherry. It is down to a single lane. Also, the ramp to Jarvis from the eastbound Gardner is closed for those pothole repairs. You're going to find backed up on the eastbound Gardner from approaching York towards that repair work taking place. Otherwise, though, looking at our routes in pretty good shape as you continue northbound DVP up towards the 401 to the 404 looks good. Southbound 404 DVP combination also in good shape. Westbound Gardner, that's moving well out of downtown. Westbound QEW at Winston Churchill, we do have a left lane block for construction, but not really seeing any delays through there. Looking at the 403, the 410, all in good shape. Same sort with the 401, haven't come across any recent troubles in either direction. And Danforth Avenue, both directions between Glen Hill and Oak Hill, that's just east of Woodbine. It is closed, and that is for crane hoisting. For all your personal and corporate tax accounting needs, call Mark Feldstein and Associates, Chartered Professional Accountants. Call from your mobile now at Pound Tax or online at markfeldstein.ca. Your next report at 10:41 with the forecast. Natasha Ramsa, hi.
Temperatures near -10 this evening, but rising to -6 overnight. With an east wind off the lake, there will likely be some lake effect flurries right along the lakeshore tonight. So it could be some slippery roads out there before the main system starts early tomorrow morning. Start time is right around 9 a.m. Heaviest between noon and 6 of that snowfall. Gusty winds blowing it all around as well. So reduced visibility. Not a great day to be out on the roads if you don't have to be. Afternoon temperature right around -3, but that will continue to rise Saturday evening, and that could transition some parts of the GTA south and west over to a little bit of rain mixing in. Overnight tonight, we're down to a low -10 degrees.
Right now in downtown Toronto, an overcast sky at -8, feeling like -14. 680 News Time, 10:33.
Heading out on the roads tomorrow morning could be treacherous as a winter storm with snowfall warnings moves towards Toronto, the GTA, and all of southern Ontario.
680's Phil Martino has more on what we can expect.
If you have a TV series you want to catch up on, Saturday would be a good day to do that. The majority of the snow headed our way will fall in about a 7-hour period between 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. That means snowfall rates of 1 to 2 centimeters an hour, according to 680 News meteorologist Natasha Ramsay.
That is going to be very difficult for plows to keep up. It's going to be difficult out on the roadways, and all kinds of travel is going to be impacted.
Toronto road crews are ready, according to city spokesperson Eric Holmes. He says they're gearing up for an all-hands-on-deck event.
We've got 1,100 pieces of equipment and about 1,500 staff available and ready to go.
Police are urging motorists to slow down and drive according to the conditions. I'm Phil Martino. And now let's head out east, where Newfoundlanders are dealing with hurricane-force winds and huge amounts of snow. With more on that winter storm, we join now live with Michelle Mackey. Michelle.
Christine, while snowfall warnings are in place here at home, blizzard warnings are in effect for parts of Newfoundland. That includes St. John's, where we find the Weather Network meteorologist Chris Murphy, who says snowfall rates have been as high as 10 centimeters an hour.
St. John's and blizzards go together like salt and pepper. And even battle-hardened veterans are saying this is something special.
Along with the snow, wind gusts have been in excess of 120 kilometers an hour. That is why St. John's has declared a state of emergency. The question, of course, is when will this storm end?
We're expecting conditions to improve gradually through Saturday, but obviously today everything's been canceled. Basically, St. John's and much eastern Newfoundland is closed.
Reporting live and thrilled to not be in Newfoundland, I'm Michelle Mackey.
680 News Time, 10:35. Back to Toronto, where the city remains under extreme cold weather alert, but not everyone hates the cold. Maybe a shake of City News caught up with some visitors that don't seem to mind the current conditions.
You guys are here from Brazil. What do you think of this lovely weather we are experiencing?
No, for us it's so different. We love it.
You love it?
Yeah, because it's different. We don't have this in Brazil. Brazil is really hot. In the winter, it's hot. No, it's not hot, but it's not like this.
And in case you're wondering, the high in Sao Paulo tomorrow will be 23 degrees.
Did not need to hear that right now. 680 News Time, 10:36. Some residents of an apartment building on Weston north of Eglinton were forced from their homes this evening after a fire broke out there. It happened at around 6 o'clock this evening. One person was taken to hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries, and the fire is now out.
It could be the end of a long and painful ordeal for hundreds of families in downtown Toronto. Today, building management announced that they're gearing up to start welcoming back displaced residents of fire-ravaged 650 Parliament. 680's Mark Douglas with the latest.
March 2nd is the date set for the start of the move back home process here at 650 Parliament.
Really, they're coming back to a very safe, secure home.
Danny Roth, spokesperson for Wellesley Parliament Square property, says all the permits will be in place. The building will be safe and clean.
They've got newly painted halls, and in some, not all, but most of the suites, there are some changes. There might be some new kitchen finishes or bathroom finishes.
It's going to be a staggered move-in. Roth says they can't have about 1,500 people showing up all at once. So starting on March 2nd, it's going to be 2 floors at a time, 1 week at a time. The whole process should take 11 weeks. Rent will be maintained at the August 2018 prices. Outside 650 Parliament, I'm Mark Douglas.
Durham's police chief wants the administrator overseeing his force removed. Paul Martin is currently under investigation for alleged corruption and abuse of power. According to the Toronto Star, Martin is arguing that the appointment of the administrator was not done fairly and subverts his authority as chief. Last May, the Ontario Civilian Police Commission opened an investigation into Martin and Durham Police. The police watchdog says it received information the force's top brass might have covered up, tolerated, or participated in alleged misconduct.
A 22-year-old veteran with Toronto Fire is facing charges after an 11-year-old was hit by a fire truck last month. It happened at a pedestrian crosswalk on Oakwood, just south of St. Clair, as the girl was walking home from school. The fire truck was rolling through the area with its sirens and lights and going on its way to an emergency call. Toronto Police spokesperson Megan Gray tells 680 News the girl is now in hospital.
She was treated at the scene by the Toronto Fire Services, and she was transported to hospital, and our latest information is that she is still recovering in hospital from her injuries.
The firefighter is facing one count of dangerous driving causing bodily harm and another charge for passing a stopped vehicle at a pedestrian crosswalk.
680 News Time, 10:38. A celebrated actress is coming to Apple TV+. 680's business editor Carl Garnish has the latest.
She's been on Saturday Night Live, starred in films like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, or maybe you've seen her in TV shows including Veep or Seinfeld.
Come on, Elaine! No!
No! That's Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and she's reached a multi-year deal with Apple to produce and star in new projects on the streaming service. Now, the financial terms of the deal have not been released, but in a statement, the longtime comedian and 8-time Emmy Award winner says she's thrilled about the new partnership. And there's been lots of deal-making from Apple to kick off the year, bringing on the former head of HBO earlier this month. At the Business Center, I'm Carl Garnish.
In 30 seconds, we'll check prices at the gas pumps.
680 News Time, 10:39.
Jenny Cooper, he's dead.
Death is her.
Oh, fuck. Woman ordered deported on 4 days. I was reading that. I'm just kind of looking at that. Woman ordered deported on 4 days' notice, given temporary resident permit. A Toronto woman ordered deported to France on 4 days' notice will be allowed to stay in Canada after the Ministry of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship intervened and issued her a temporary resident permit. TRP, her attorney tells City News. It's a miracle, Laura Souchet, 30, said after hearing the news. I have no words to describe the feeling. I can't believe it. I'm so happy. Souchet, 30, was issued a deportation order by the Canada Border Services Agency, CBSA, on Tuesday, and was told she had to leave the country by Saturday. She appeared in federal court on Friday, where her lawyer, Barbara Jackman, asked a judge to stay her removal order until an application for residency on humanitarian and compassionate grounds could be processed. Jackman's office says the ministry's intervention has now resolved the issue. Quote, this means that the stay motion we argued this morning is now moot, as Laura is now permitted to remain in the country, Jackman and Associates told City News in an email Friday afternoon, just hours after the tense court hearing. A TRP is a document that authorizes a person who is inadmissible or does not meet the requirements of the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act or regulations, either as a temporary resident or as a permanent resident, to enter or remain in Canada, the law firm explained. Souchet told City News her legal quandary began when she came to Canada from France with her mother when she was just 12 years old. She says upon arrival in Canada, they received ill advice from an immigration consultant. They could have been sponsored by her grandmother, who was a Canadian citizen, but she says the consultant urged them to instead apply for refugee status, which was denied. A removal order was issued back in 2006, but Souchet says on the advice of their consultant it was ignored. Because of that, when she applied for permanent residency on humanitarian and compassionate grounds in November, her case was flagged. The CBSA, hold on a second, it says the Canada Border Services Agency, CBSA, again, which enforces deportation orders, knocked on her door earlier this month, and Souchet spent 2 days in custody. Quote, I felt dirty like a criminal, she said of her detention. It wasn't my fault to begin with. I was a child. This happened to me, and I'm trying to fix it. On Tuesday, the CBSA said she had to pack up and leave the country by Saturday, just 4 days later. She will now be allowed to stay in Toronto, where she runs a cleaning business. What the fuck? Quote, as you can imagine, we are thrilled with the minister's intervention, her legal team added. This is a fair result for a Canadian dreamer like Laura, who came into this country as a child and made it her home. We stand firm in our belief that Canada needs to create a policy or law that provides a path to regularization. Oh my God, what a word. For children who were brought into this country and have subsequently not only established roots in Canada, but have contributed to our society as a whole. So it doesn't matter what you do, you're still illegal. They're still going to pick you up and you're gone.
Greg is now recovering in hospital. Paige and the rest of the original Wiggles were raising money for the Red Cross and Wildlife Rescue Group. Coming up in health and lifestyle news at 10:48, an investigation into Tesla's electric cars reveals they can accelerate on their own.
680 News Time, 10:44.
I thought the car drove itself
just outside my house.
on purpose. I think that was intended.
Cold. It looks like I'm the only one outside, except for my next door neighbor, Gary, in that Subaru, and that other neighbor in a Subaru. Wow, so many Subarus. Must be symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive. Coffee, Brian? Thank you, Gary.
Bring on winter in a Subaru. Hurry in for great rates from 0.99% at your Ontario Subaru dealer.
Trend alert for the new year? Sleep. It's so hot right now. And the best part, it looks good on everyone. Can't say that about bangs.
Sleep better this year with Sleep Country's year-end model sale. Get amazing prices on select brand new beds in 2019 styles, colors, and fabrics, and our sleep experts will match you to your best sleep. Plus, get a Hot by Sealy Eurotop Queen mattress with extra back support, just $489. Hurry in store or online. It's on now. Sleep Country, all for sleep.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
It's -8 with the wind chill. Feels like -14. We have an overcast sky. Good evening from the 680 News Broadcast Center in downtown Toronto. I'm Christine Ritchie.
I'm Scott Burnett. Here's the top stories this hour.
Get ready. It's heading our way. Snow expected to appear at around 9 o'clock tomorrow morning with the heaviest snowfall hitting Toronto and the GTA between the hours of noon and 6 o'clock. We can expect up to 15 centimeters of snow. Meantime, on the east coast, parts of Newfoundland under a state of emergency as they brace for hurricane-force winds and an expected 80 centimeters of snow overnight. And coming up after sports, a Saskatoon man charged with fraud after he sets up a GoFundMe page to cash in on the Humboldt Broncos tragedy. 680 News Time, 10:45. Now, 680 sports from Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Here's Andy McNamara.
Thanks, Christine. Well, the Raptors absolutely dominate the Wizards with a blowout 140-111 victory to earn their second straight win and tying a franchise record for most points in a single game. Toronto's Norm Powell led all scorers with 28. The Raps are off to Minnesota to battle the Timberwolves Saturday. The Maple Leafs only have one win in their last 5, and Coach Sheldon Keefe said that the team needs to be more careful with the puck.
We don't want to be conservative in terms of giving up the puck and forcing ourselves into defensive postures. We want to be a team that retains the puck, but we do want to be a little more conservative when it comes to picking our spots when we give up the puck, such as when we shoot it.
Leafs host the Blackhawks next on Saturday. In the NFL, ex-Cowboys head coach Jason Garrett is now the new offensive coordinator for the New York Giants. And the Blue Jays had some infield depth, signing Ruben Tejada to a minor league deal. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime on the home of Tim and Sid on TV and radio. Sports at 590 The Fan.
680 News Time, 10:47.
Some live to ski. Others ski to live. Introducing Bluemont. Blue Mountain Chalet living on 60-foot executive lots. Steps from the mountain. A lifetime of memories awaits you and your family. Chalets from $890,000. For more information or directions to our sales office, visit Fremont.com.
At Capital Direct, all of our clients share a common trait or two. They are doing very well. They own their own homes, and they have a sense of urgency. Something's come up. They've got a special home project. They want to pay down taxes, or they just want to get started saving on interest. If you've got something you would like to urgently take care of, call Capital Direct today at 1-800-NEW-CAPITAL. CapitalDirect.ca.
680 News Time, 1048.
The union representing elementary school teachers is expanding rotating strikes to a third day next week. The Elementary Teachers Federation of Ontario says the job action will begin Monday in Toronto, York Region, and Ottawa-Carleton, followed by strikes at 4 smaller boards on Tuesday and 3 others on Wednesday. English Catholic teachers and the province's public high school teachers, meantime, also plan to hold one-day strikes on Tuesday. Cynthia Mulligan from City News breaks down the demands amid rising tensions.
Compensation is one of the issues. The government has put a cap on wage increases at 1%. Unions are asking for roughly 2%. Yesterday, Premier Doug Ford said the government won't budge on that.
No.
But unions say there are even more critical issues. Increasing class sizes and mandatory e-learning courses will eliminate thousands of teaching positions. Unions want a guarantee to protect all-day kindergarten. They also want the Local Priorities Fund renewed to help vulnerable students. When it was cancelled by the government, it meant a loss of $33.5 million for Catholic boards alone and 335 positions.
And during Monday's strike, the TDSB says independently run daycares inside elementary schools will remain open, and the school board's extended day programs will also be open to currently enrolled students. Safety officials in the U.S. are now looking into a potentially deadly problem with Tesla's electric vehicles.
The complaint is the cars can suddenly accelerate on their own. A NHTSA document shows 127 owner complaints to the government, including 110 crashes and 52 injuries. The allegations cover about 500,000 2013 through 2019 Teslas, Model 3, Model S, and Model X. NHTSA is already investigating 3 crashes last month involving Teslas. 3 people were killed. The new complaints about unintended acceleration haven't been verified, but some allege the car's electronics malfunctioned. I'm Ed Donahue.
A Saskatoon man has been found guilty of fraud and possession of stolen property after he set up a fake GoFundMe account for the Humboldt Broncos. The man raised $3,600 after the April 2018 crash that killed 16 people, but the money never made it to the hockey team. The Crown Attorney, meantime, says he wants the case to send the message that people can be criminally charged if they raise money for GoFundMe and keep it for themselves. Coming up in a minute, we'll have a look at traffic.
680 News Time, 1050.
When Mark Mendelson and Bay Blue Radio joined forces with 680 News over 25 years ago, it was the start of a beautiful relationship.
We've been advertising on 680 News since the very beginning. Radio is the best vehicle for advertising long-term to a client base who will buy when they're ready to buy. And we're a long-term business, so we love long-term results.
Vendors love those results too.
Whenever we talk to a vendor about co-op advertising, they say, oh, please advertise on 680 News. And that's because the CEOs of these companies I'm dealing with are listening to this radio station all the time, and all their friends are. And the reason 680 works is because it's foreground radio. When people are actually listening to 680 News, they're actually listening.
And what you say to those listeners has shaped how they see the Bay Blue Radio brand.
Radio gives you your personality, and you can personalize your company, which we've managed to do over a long period of time on 680 News.
It sounds like it's working.
Well, we're still here after 73 years.
Get 680 News working for you. Call 416-935-NEWS.
1051.
With a look at your drive, here's Barb Andrews.
This report brought to you by Alterna Savings. We do have some construction now popping up. Eastbound 401 through Avenue Road. The express to collector transfers, they are closed for construction. Otherwise, though, eastbound 401 in good shape. Same story with the westbound 401. No recent troubles to pass along. It is lightly traveled at this time. We also have some construction on the southbound 404 at Major Mackenzie. 2 left lanes are now closed. You'll find, so far, though, it is a nice drive on the 404 heading southbound as you make your way over the 401 onto the southbound DVP. Westbound Gardner in good shape. Westbound QEW Winston Churchill, we have a left lane blocked with construction. Eastbound QEW moving well, and we still have that jam up eastbound Gardner. That's because a pothole repair is taking place between Jarvis and Cherry. It is down to a single lane. Also, the ramp to Jarvis from eastbound Gardner closed for those pothole repairs, and you'll find traffic backed up eastbound Gardner as you approach York over to where that road work is taking taking place. Saving for retirement doesn't have to be scary. Talk to an advisor at Alterna Saving about the best plan for you. Visit alterna.ca to book an appointment. Alterna Savings, discover the good in banking. Your next report coming up at 11:01 with the forecast. Here's Natasha Ramsa. Hi.
Temperatures this evening, -10, rising to -6 by morning, rising to -3 by the afternoon, but it doesn't stop there. We will continue up to 2 degrees by Saturday evening. So we've got this transition from lake effect flurries overnight tonight, light, fluffy, blowing snow tomorrow morning, heavy snow between noon and 6, and then switching over to that wet snow that's hard to shovel late in the day. Gusty winds will be blowing it and reducing visibility, and slight chance we'll mix in some rain Saturday evening. On Sunday, we're back to on and off lake effect flurries, gusty northwest winds, temperatures falling through the day to reach -6, wind chill -13. And then by Monday, we will finally calm things down in the weather department, mainly sunny skies, lighter winds, and a high of -4. Temperatures this evening near -10, rising overnight.
Downtown Toronto overcast, -8, feeling like -14 with the wind. Same conditions at Pearson Airport. This extended forecast is brought to you by Sunwing.ca. Get the best price guaranteed on top-rated all-inclusive vacations and enjoy award-winning service every step of the way. Book today with your travel agent or at Sunwing.ca.
Coming up at 11 o'clock, the latest on a winter storm hitting Toronto, the GTA, and southern Ontario. The snow will begin in the city at around 9 tomorrow morning, with the heaviest amounts moving in between noon and 6 o'clock tomorrow, as you've been hearing in our weather reports. So you just might want to head to the grocery store tonight and get ready to hibernate.
Freezing rain.
City News Time 10:54.
Thanks to you, my daddy got home safely from his day at work.
Thanks to you, my daughter got home safely from her girlfriend's party on the weekend.
Thanks to you, my brother and I go to and from practice every week.
Most of us do our part to keep our roads safe by driving sober. We plan ahead, designate a driver, take taxis or transit, stay over, or call home. Thank you for driving sober. A message from Arrive Alive, Drive Sober, and CAA. To find out more, visit arrivealive.org.
680 News Time 10:55. Boeing has found a new software problem on its grounded 737 MAX jetliner. ABC's Alex Stone reports the latest problem has to do with monitors that verify whether key systems on the plane are working.
During a software audit, an issue with the Boeing 737 MAX software has been found. Two separate flight computers were not talking to each other at startup. Boeing rewrote the entire flight computer software for the MAX. It's not able to tell ABC News if a fix will take days or weeks, but that work is being done.
The MAX has been grounded since 2 crashes killed
software
346 people. Coming up in a minute's time, we'll have the business report.
680 News Time 10:55.
Hey y'all, I'm David Duke, co-owner of Bruce Chris Steakhouse and the GTA. I literally grew up in the steakhouse business. Started washing dishes and have done every job in the restaurant.
This is the fault of somebody under the age of 25.
The founder of Bruce Chris Steakhouse. I called her Aunt Ruth, and I promise you, my friend, that our steak broiled at 1800 degrees and served sizzling is the best steak that you'll ever have. And don't forget, as Lana says, come hungry, darling.
I joined because I wanted to help others.
To be a part of something bigger.
To show my kids what's important.
I joined to make my community stronger.
To make a difference in someone's life.
To acknowledge that our freedoms come at a cost.
I joined to honor my mom.
My grandpa.
My neighbor.
Everyone who served.
Who are serving still. Honoring veterans is our duty. Join today at legion.ca/join.
680 News Time 10:56.
Now the 680 News Business Report. Here's Carl Garnish.
One of Beyond Meat's main rivals is apparently getting the green light to expand into Canada. The Toronto Star reports that Health Canada is allowing Impossible Foods to sell the Impossible Burger and other products in the country. However, Impossible Foods has not revealed its expansion plans at this time. Anthony Acolio, Money Talk Markets Editor at TD Wealth, says this will affect Beyond Meat's reign in Canada.
Absolutely, as more and more of these other competitors begin to move into the space, how much market share and how much profitability can they gain as more and more people move into that space. So that's something that we'll still have to keep an eye on going forward.
U.S. shares of Beyond Meat moved in both directions after hours. Another round of record closer highs for North American markets on Wall Street. Analysts say investors are cheering U.S. home construction, which showed it surging to 13-year highs in December, adding to a series of indicators this week suggesting the American economy is in good shape. The Dow was higher for a fifth day in a row, up 50 points. Apple's in focus as Seinfeld and Veep star Julia Louis-Dreyfus is set to develop new projects exclusively for its Apple TV Plus streaming service as both an executive producer and star. The iPhone maker soaring to a fresh all-time high today of $318.74. At the close, the stock was up by 1.1%, just below it by a cent to $318.73. A three-day rally for the NASDAQ and S&P. The NASDAQ gained 31 points. S&P added 12. The TSX finished higher for a fifth day in a row, up by 74 points to 17,559. And lumber stocks were among the big winners on Bay. A number of analysts say Canadian production cutbacks and a consumer-driven recovery in U.S. housing starts could mean better times ahead for both lumber and panel products this year. Interfor at the close on Bay up 8.2% to $15.74. Norbord gaining 7.7%, closing at $39.81. Gold also rose $9.80, finishing at $1,560. Oil adding 2 cents, remaining around $58.54 a barrel. Canadian dollar was lower by 15/100ths of a cent, closing at 76.53 cents U.S. At the Business Center, I'm Carl Garnish.
Stay one step ahead of the competition with 680 News.
I'm Steve Friedman from the Chesterfield Shop. We've been in business since 1948 and have 5 locations in and around the GTA selling contemporary leather and fabric seating. The Chesterfield Shop has been advertising for over 10 years with 680 News. We find that we are growing our ad dollars with them because the ads are most effective. People know us, they trust us, but we know we have to keep a fresh face out there so that people will come and see what's new at the Chesterfield Shop.
Why choose 680 News?
These days, when there are so many different options and opportunities in different media, we find that radio and 680 News in particular are very effective in getting across our message.
And 680 News helps you reach the customers you're looking for?
680 News absolutely brings in the right demographic for us. People who listen to the ads, they're invested in beautifying their homes and enhancing their lifestyle. And we think that it's a perfect match.
Get 680 News working for you. Call 680 News Advertising at 416-935-NEWS.
And taking a look at the regional weather conditions this hour in Richmond Hill, -10, partly cloudy there. Oakville, -7, mostly cloudy. In Brampton, -8, overcast sky. Oshawa, -11 with a partly cloudy sky. In Hamilton, -9 and overcast. 680 News Time at the sound of the tone, 11 o'clock.
#1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News, Toronto.
Here are Scott Burnett and Christine Ritchie.
Good evening. This is Friday, January 17th.
Here's what's making news this hour. The first big snowfall of 2020 could see 20 centimeters of snow. All of southern Ontario is under a snowfall warning.
As we brace for snow, Newfoundland in the midst of a dangerous blizzard. St. John's declares a state of emergency.
A Toronto woman who was told she had 4 days to pack up and head back to France has her deportation orders reversed.
Canadian airports are adding new levels of screening after the spread of a deadly coronavirus out of China.
Raptors light up the Wizards to win their second straight, and the Maple Leafs get ready for the Blackhawks. Sports at 15.
Canopy Growth is holding off on rolling out its hot-infused beverages. Another round of record-closing highs for Bay and Wall Street. TSX added 74 points, down up by 50. Business at 26.
It's going to be 11:01.
Time for traffic and weather together.
This report brought to you by 407 ETR. We do have some construction on the eastbound 401. Eastbound 401, just east of Avenue Road, the collector to express transfers are closed, and eastbound 401, just east of Avenue Road in the express, the right lane is closed. All of that for road work taking place. Not really seeing, though, a delay as you make your way through that area. Westbound 401 in good shape. No recent problems to pass along. If you're on the southbound 404 at Major Mackenzie, we have 2 left lanes now closed with construction, but moving well through that stretch as you make your way over the 401 onto the DVP. Westbound Gardner, we do have long-term road work between the DVP and York, where it's down to 2 lanes for construction, as well as the ramp to Jarvis closed, but not really causing any delays. Westbound QEW at Winston Churchill, we have a left lane blocked with construction. Eastbound Gardner, still a slow drive as you make your way anywhere from approaching York through to Jarvis. That's because between Jarvis and Cherry, it is down to a single lane, and that is for pothole repair work. Also, the ramp to Jarvis from eastbound Gardner, that is closed for those repairs. 407 ETR drivers say they save 20 to 60 minutes per trip. 407 ETR manages traffic from an excellent driving experience. Visit 407etr.com. NZD.com. Your next report at 11:11 with the forecast. Natasha Ramsahai.
Temperatures hovering between -9 and -10 overnight tonight, but then rising to -6 by morning. Watch for lake effect flurries overnight, especially along the lakeshore for some slick roads. The main system gets going around 9-10 o'clock tomorrow morning, heaviest through the afternoon, and a slight chance we'll mix in some rain Saturday evening for a few hours, and that'll make for some slushy conditions. That's going to be especially along the lakeshore westward. Higher amounts, up to 20 centimeters expected out through York, Durham. Probably in the 15 centimeter range for Toronto. Afternoon temperature -3 degrees. Tonight we are going to hover near -9 degrees overnight.
And right now we're sitting at -8, feeling like -14 with the wind chill. We have an overcast sky. Pearson Airport -8 and mostly cloudy. 680 News Time 11:03.
A snowfall warning now in effect for Toronto, the GTA, and for all of Southern Ontario, calling for up to 15 centimeters to fall here in the city.
680 Phil Martino joins us. What you can expect.
Brace yourself, it's coming, and a lot of it. 680 News meteorologist Natasha Ramsahai says here in Toronto, most of the snow headed our way will fall in a 7-hour period.
The window for that heaviest snowfall is expected to be between about 11 a.m. and 6 p.m., and that's when the majority of our 12 to 15 centimeters of snow will fall.
City spokesperson Eric Holmes says Toronto road crews are ready to tackle the storm with 1,100 pieces of equipment and about 1,500 staff members.
And then as we hit accumulation levels based on our service levels, you'll see plows out.
If you plan to drive, OPP Sergeant Kerry Schmidt says, first, clear the snow off your vehicle.
And obviously, don't be in a rush or a hurry and drive to the conditions, whatever they may be.
I'm Phil Martino.
Meantime, out east, it's a dramatic scene in Newfoundland and Labrador as they get pummeled by a blizzard with up to 80 centimeters of snow expected to blanket the region. 680's Michelle Mackey with the latest.
While snowfall warnings are in place here at home, blizzard warnings in effect for parts of Newfoundland. That includes St. John's, where we find Weather Network meteorologist Chris Murphy, who says snowfall rates have been as high as 10 centimeters an hour.
St. John's and blizzards go together like salt and pepper. And even battle-hardened veterans are saying this is something special.
Along with the snow, wind gusts have been in excess of 120 kilometers an hour.
I'm sure
St.
that's
John's
the
declaring a
they're
state
using.
of emergency. The question, of course, is when will this end?
We're expecting conditions to improve gradually through Saturday, but everything's been canceled. Basically, St. John's and much easier Newfoundland is closed.
Thrilled to not be in Newfoundland, I'm Michelle Mackey.
And back here at home, a happy ending for a Toronto woman who was fighting a deportation order. Tina Yazdani of City News has more.
Still in total disbelief after an unexpected decision that allows Laura Suchet to stay in the country she calls home.
I'm just overwhelmed and so happy. It hasn't hit me yet.
It has been a roller coaster of emotions for the 30-year-old who moved here from France with her mother when she was just 12 years old. At the time, she says her family received bad advice from an immigration consultant that led to years of legal issues. This afternoon, the Minister of Immigration intervened and issued a temporary resident permit for Laura, meaning she now has status and can legally stay in the country. The temporary permit gives the government enough time to properly process Laura's application for residency on humanitarian and compassionate grounds. It is her pathway to permanent residency that can take up to a year. For City News, I'm Tina Yazdani.
680 News Time 11:06. Canada says it plans to take measures at some airports next week to identify travelers who may have a flu-like virus that has killed 2 people and sickened dozens more in central China. The change comes as U.S. officials say 3 American airports will screen passengers arriving from the region. The Public Health Agency of Canada says the measures will include messaging on arrival screens at the Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver international airports, reminding travelers from Wuhan to inform a border service officer if they are experiencing flu-like symptoms. There will also be an additional health screening question added to electronic kiosks. The agency says the overall risk to Canadians is low.
One person has been taken to hospital after a fire at an apartment building near Weston and Eglinton. The fire broke out at around 6 this evening on the 6th floor of a 10-story building. Paramedics say the victim suffered minor smoke inhalation and the fire is now out. Some residents were forced from their units and have been sheltering in TTC buses on this cold night. No word yet on the cause.
Forced from their homes for close to 17 months, residents displaced by fire at 650 Parliament now know when they'll be able to finally will he return home? 680's Mark Douglas is outside the high-rise and joins us with the latest.
About 1,500 tenants from this apartment building have been waiting almost 18 months just to hear this announcement.
The initial day for the first residents to return looks like it's going to be March 2nd.
That's Danny Roth, spokesperson for the landlord company, Wellesley Parliament Square property. The move-in will be staggered, 2 floors at a time, over a span of 11 weeks.
You certainly don't want them all arriving on the first day.
Roth says aside from some cosmetic work that might still need to be done, tenants will find their building fully functional, safe, clean, and with a new coat of paint inside. It was back in August of 2018 when a 6-alarm electrical fire made the building unfit for occupancy. When it reopens again, rent will still be at the August 2018 prices. Outside 650 Parliament, I'm Mark Douglas.
Toronto police have charged a fellow service member after a fire truck struck an 11-year-old girl in the city last month. It's believed the fire truck, with its lights and sirens activated, hit the girl as it was veering around a stopped vehicle on Oakwood Avenue just south of St. Clair last month. Police spokesperson Megan Gray says the 22-year veteran faces several charges.
The firefighter was charged with 1 count of careless driving causing bodily harm and 1 count of past stopped vehicle at crossover.
The firefighter will appear in court next month but remains on active duty.
It was a story that grabbed Ontarians by the heartstrings. A dog that was recently found abandoned in a suitcase in Etobicoke. Well, Casey, the Jack Russell Terrier, has been in the care of Toronto Animal Services ever since, and despite being a little shy, she has started to come out of her shell. Vets have noticed that she has some dental issues and a small lump that may be removed, but her medical issues do not require immediate attention. She has also been enrolled in the organization's Second Chance Dog program to receive positive reinforcement training techniques. Coming up in 30 seconds, we'll check on the price at the pumps.
680 News Time, 11:09.
680 News, Toronto. The holidays are a lot for Susan. A lot of parties, a lot of gifts, and a lot of bills. But Susan is a winter warrior. And now, during the Winter Warrior sales event at Nissan, when Susan gets a Qashqai Kicks, she gets up to 3 payments on us, up to $1,000 value. Up to 3 payments on us. That's a little breather for Susan, and Nissan's way of saying thanks. A lot. Visit choosenissan.ca or your Nissan dealer. Conditions apply.